top of the morning, and it is a beaut.
And the hope of the Irish as the future champion of the world.
A podcast is kind of like it's like a radio show that's not on the radio.
Welcome to the Barry J. McDonald podcast. The place where dreams get dusted off and acted on. Because life is too short. We're living on a rock that's flying through space, and hey, what the hell else were you going to do with yourself here?
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode. Now, today I want to let you in on a big mistake I made years ago. Now, the mistake I made is possibly one that you are making right now yourself, and that is not to start where you are. You know, when I think back to before I started on this journey that I'm on right now in the online world, you know, I used to watch people from the sidelines, you know, people that I admired, people who had podcasts, people who wrote Kindle books, you know, people who were authors, people who were YouTubers, people who were making money online. You know, I used to watch them and I would think to myself, God, it would be so amazing to be in their situation. But where I am right now, don't have enough experience, don't have enough equipment, I definitely don't have enough money. So, you know, let's just set it out for another while. Give it another couple of weeks or another couple of months, and hopefully everything will work out fine, and then I'll start. Now, I told myself that lie for months and months and months. And it was only when I came to the realization that, you know, my situation wasn't going to get any better. I wasn't going to magically find any money down the back of the mattress or under my bed, or, you know, I wasn't going to get a big inheritance just appear out of nowhere. That was never going to happen for me. And although I didn't realize it at the time, I kind of wised up to myself that, you know something, Barry, if you're going to start, you're just going to have to start. You're going to have to work with what you have. And I remember, you know, when I look back at some of the photographs when, you know, when I was writing my fiction in the early days, you know, the tiny little laptop I have, it wasn't even a proper laptop. It was a tiny wee notebook. I don't know if one of the kids got it for Christmas or whatever, but I ended up getting my hands on it. And I remember writing my first fiction books on that. Now, I looked at a photograph the other day, and it was of me sitting at the kitchen table, and here was me, almost like a gorilla, you know, the size of me, you know, hunkering down over this small wee notebook. But that was what I wrote my fiction books on. And, you know, it kind of grew from there, you know. I kind of wrote my first couple of books, I made some money, I invested in better equipment, and I bought more books to help me write better fiction, and you know, it all kind of snowballed from there. That was my starting point. It wasn't the most ideal starting point, but you have to start somewhere. And right now, you might be kidding yourself thinking, well, I'm not ready yet to blog or podcast or whatever, because, you know, stupidly like me, you're thinking to yourself, well, I need more money, I need more equipment, I need more books. But what you'll find is that the best thing you can do right now is to start where you are. Because what you'll find is that when you start where you are, you'll find out what you need to know next. And I found, you know, when I was thinking of being a fiction writer at the time, you know, buying all those fiction books and never putting probably 99% of the content into use because it wasn't relevant to me. And you'll find that when you start where you are, you're going to reach a point where you're going to have a problem. And then you're going to look around for an answer to that problem. And then you're going to move on to your next problem. And you're going to have to look for another answer for that problem. So when you actually start with where you are, you're actually finding answers to problems that you have right now that you need fixed. Whereas if you hold off and, you know, buy all the digital courses, all the videos, all the books, and, you know, all those different things, you'll find that maybe some of the information in that will never be relevant to you. So what I did was I kind of set off my little journey with my little notebook, and I learned along the way, and I found I needed to know this next. And then when I learned that, well, then I found I needed to know this next. Again with the podcast, you know, I didn't have any special microphone. I still don't have any special microphone. But I decided if I'm going to do a podcast, you know, just start the podcast. You know, just get the Anchor.fm app on your phone, start recording on your smartphone, and take it from there. Try it out, see how it goes. You're going to make mistakes in the first couple of podcast episodes. You're going to improve over time. Well, hopefully I'll improve over time and the podcast will get better. But I knew I needed to start somewhere. And the same is true for you. Because unfortunately a lot of us kind of, especially as we get older, we say to ourselves, well, something, if I haven't done this by the age of 40, or this by the age of 50, or this by the age of 60, well then I'm never going to do it. Now, I don't know why we get these stupid kind of fictitious kind of made up, scenarios in our head that if we haven't done certain things in our life at this moment, it means we're never going to do it. If you never write a fiction book by the age of 40, well, good luck at that. You'll never be a fiction writer. Or if you never have a podcast by the age of 50, well, those days are gone. You'll never have a podcast. But really, you can start any of those things at any age. You could be creating your very first digital product right now, and it could be your 90th birthday. It has no relation on your age at all. And that's hopefully what I'm trying to help you, in this podcast is I'm trying to make you realise that there's never going to be a perfect moment. There's never going to be an ideal moment to, start your business or do whatever you want to do. There's just today. It's just going to be a normal day. And if you do have any success in the future with whatever course or whatever route you're going down right now, you look back and you'll see, well, I started on a normal day. It was a Tuesday. It was a wet day I started working on my business. There was nothing special about that day. I just started. So bear that in mind. Don't be like me. Don't be like a dummy like I was in the past, thinking that, there's going to be a right time to start. There's never a right time. The only right time to start whatever it is you want to do, fiction writing, podcasting, YouTubing, whatever, it's today. It's right now. It's as soon as you've, hung up your smartphone, stop listening to this podcast. Take action with whatever you have right now. You mightn't have the best equipment. You mightn't have the best knowledge. You mightn't have the talent. You mightn't have the experience. But you have to start somewhere. And yeah, you're going to suck in the beginning. Your work is going to be terrible. And I think for a lot of us, we believe that, our work needs to be perfect, from the very first attempt. No, it doesn't. How can you be, a perfect YouTuber if you've never recorded any YouTube videos? How can you be a perfect podcaster if you've never even recorded a podcast episode? How can you write a perfect fiction book if you've never written fiction before? It's always going to be terrible. And that's what I would remind you, is that kind of to go into that mindset, whatever new project you're about to do. Go into it knowing that it's going to suck. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be awful. You're going to embarrass yourself. But that's the starting point. That's not the end point. The more you do the thing that you'd like to do, the repetitions, doing it over and over and over again, means you'll get better. You'll improve. You'll grow more confident. You'll be better at it. And your work will get better over time. So stop thinking that you need a special starting point. It's never going to happen. And stop thinking that your work is going to be perfect straight out of the gate. It's not. Start where you are, with what you have, and let's get going. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye. Would you like to know how I went from being a lowly shelf stacker, depressed, no confidence in himself, and how I went from that to becoming a popular children's author, and then on to even greater things, recording and selling my own digital products? If you'd like to find out how I did it, and if you would like to do the same yourself, if you head over to Writecom, that's WRITECOME.com, you'll find a great free report over there, which is called the Online Business Manifesto. And in that report, I'm going to show you the journey I went on from the beginning to where I am right now. And I'm going to show you the 3 business secrets I learned along the way. Now, these secrets aren't secrets that most people talk about. Some people don't even realise that they exist. So if you head over to Writecom, download the free report, you are going to be miles ahead of everyone else who has an online business. Have a lovely day, and I hope you enjoy this episode.